Nerazzurri fans from all over the world, welcome to the Interglobe for Benfica-Inter 0-2. Anybody has a scarf or a hat or some gloves? You know why it's so cold? Because we're playing with Cabeza, Fria, as Onana said. Very cold head, no instinct, just rationale. What a game! One of the best games in Inter's history, I would say, in the Champions League. Also because we won, we dominated, we deserved, we could have scored even more. And everybody was saying that we were not in a good position against Benfica, that the probabilities were more on their side than on ours. Of course, this is just the first half of a 180 minutes game. We're going to have to play here in San Siro next week. But we started off in a way that couldn't be better. Let's go to the game. We started, as I say, with the right approach, controlling but also attacking. We were pressing them very high up in the first minutes. So in the first 10 minutes, I would say that we deserved to keep the game in balance, to tie it. We didn't suffer any opportunity. Then they did step up for a little bit, for the central part of the first half. We suffered a bit. Territorial dominance, not ball possession, not many opportunities on their side, because if you recall, the best opportunity they had in the whole first half was one created by us, because Di Marco gave an assist to their player who shot on goal and Onana saved it brilliantly. So the first half was pleasant, although not very spectacular, but we handled and managed the game in a superb way, considering the context. The Estadio da Luz sold out, everybody singing, everybody shouting, everybody supporting, not like in San Siro where sometimes we are capable of being nihilistic and booing our own players, like it happened this year with Bellanova, for example. Anyhow, the second half, we get in again with the right mentality and we score. We score with a goal that was stupendous. It was the photocopy of the goal that Pablito Paolo Rossi scored in 1982 in Italy-Brazil, 3-2, another historical game, this time for the national team of Italy. It was the copy of that goal, incredible. In that play, Cabrini crossed the ball and Pablito headed it in. This time it was Bastoni who crossed and Barella who really headed it in a majestic way. And it was really the same goal as in 1982. I was very emotional about it because that goal meant a lot to me in 82. And I hope that this goal will mean a lot to me because it would mean that we go through to the next round. Anyway, after scoring, Benfica did suffer this hit psychologically, and we did have another couple of opportunities. One in particular with Mkhitaryan, who was given the ball by Correa. He was very close to the goal, but he didn't manage to shoot it in. And in any case, we were containing Benfica, pretty bravely. I was happy to see the way in which we defended. It was a very confident way of defending, probably inspired also by players with personality in that department, not only like Bastoni, but also like Acerbi himself. Anyway, then we had this incredible double opportunity with Dumfries, with again a wonderful cross by Bastoni, and then he tried to head it, but he didn't do it quite as well as Barella before. And then the ball went back to his feet and he didn't manage to tap it in. But anyway, there was a penalty that I honestly didn't see during the game, and Romelu, 100% Inter penalty conversion, scored very well and brought us in a situation in which we really can smile, because the game was great. We also controlled the game after Lukaku's goal. We were closer to score the 3-0 than them, the 2-1, but in the very end there was a strange pass from Gosens to Brozovic, and Brozovic lost a terrible ball, and really again we counted on Onana, on Cabeza, Fria, Onana. That's what he said in his interviews before the game. We counted on him to save the game in the very last minute. And that's it. Let's go to the report of the players. Tiramola Onana, Cabeza Fria, 7+. He even dribbled with his heel a player of Benfica in the first half. He made that great instinct save on that shot in the first half again, and then in the very end of the game he saved the result. And you know, I love the positioning he had on that shot in the very end, because he made a difficult save look easy, because he was very much outside of the goal, and that helped him a lot to close the possibilities for the forward player of Benfica. And that's why he saved the ball easily, let's say, and he even managed to kept it and not to deflect it. So a great goalkeeper, another clean sheet, 7+ for Onana. It's fantastic to have you, Andre. Darmian, another fantastic player to have. I hope most of fans now can understand why, when asked which player's jersey you would ask at the end of the game, Javier Zanetti said, I would ask among Inter players the jersey to Darmian, because he's very silent, he's very determined, he's a great team player. And even yesterday he played very well, very focused, and also with a lot of grit. He recuperated a couple of balls with great energy, and he also helped forward. So 7 for Darmian. Acerbi 6.5, would have been a 7, but in the very end of the game he lost a ball that was also very dangerous, so that's half a grade less. But you know, he was very good with his head and with his feet in anticipating the opponents. And what I loved is the personality. He was yelling to his teammates on the pitch. He was yelling to them for the positioning and for the responsibilities. So really, I was very happy with his approach, mental approach. And it's not only this game, he's a leader in defense. He's a leader in the defense department. He also had a nice shot in the first half from the distance, like 30-35 meters, but he went this close to the bar. And so all in all, he's a 6.5 for Acerbi. Bastoni, 7.5. What a player. This guy has a left foot which has the class of a midfielder, not of a defender. 7.5 for Bastoni. He recuperated a couple of good balls in defense. He made this incredible assist alla Cabrini Italia-Brazil to Barella. He made another perfect cross for Dumfries, as we mentioned, and all in all, he gave the impression to really fit in a technical game like the one that Benfica tried to create. So he really didn't have any technical difficulty against the players who are mostly technical. So really amazing, 7.5, and one of the best games of Bastoni recently. Moving on to midfield, we have A-Train Dumfries on the flank, and it's a 7 for A-Train. Why? Despite his horrendous feet, he had a couple of passes and crosses that really must have been something to suffer for the lovers of technical skills in soccer. But as I mentioned in the pre-match, his head was determinant. He basically almost scored with that header on Bastoni's cross. He also conquered a penalty with his cross and with João Mario's hand. And he even dribbled towards the end and put in the center of the penalty area a wonderful cross. Most of the actions of Inter in the first half especially were on his feet. Yes, Bastoni was also playing very well, but we attacked a lot on the right, and I would give him a 7 for all these reasons. A-Train Dumfries gets a 7. Barella, 7.5. This is the Barella we want. It's that easy. Incredible, beautiful cross for Dzeko in the first half, although he didn't play well in the first half, I have to be honest. That's why I give him 7.5 and not 8, because in the first half, apart from this cross for Dzeko, he didn't do anything. In the second half, he started really playing much better. He did also a beautiful tunnel I don't know if it's called tunnel in English, when the ball passes through the legs of the opponent. But anyway, he did that wonderful magic trick in the first half, I guess, and then he scored, and then after that he really stepped up. As always, enthusiasm gives a lot of value to the players' performances, and that was the case for Barella, a 7.5. For once, you took again the dominion of midfield in terms of grade, even though I have to say the midfield yesterday was a dream. Brozovic, Mkhitaryan and Barella yesterday were a dream. So it's 7.5 for Barella. Moving on to two-man Brozovic, who was also captain, and I think that having this captain band on his arm helped him to concentrate, because he played really well despite my pessimism, and he started the game with a mistake, but he recuperated the ball right away, so that showed that he had the right approach. He moved very well in the pitch yesterday because he helped his teammates a lot. In a man-on-man game, having a player that is capable of unmarking himself is fundamental, and he was the best of Inter at doing that, so very good. In the end, he did lose that ball that was incredible on Gosens' pass, and they almost scored. And for this reason, it's not a 7, but it's a 7 minus for Brozovic, because that ball in the end is not justifiable. But all in all, great game. Miki, 7+. He's just a rock. Great recuperation of balls. Almost scored on that Correa's pass. Dominates midfield physically. He dominates midfield physically at 34. Can you believe that? So what can you say? Thanks, Miki. 7+. And if I think the last year your role was taken by somebody like Vidal, this says a lot about the stepping up that we did in terms of strength in midfield. That's amazing. And I want to see more of Aslani as well. And we have a really, really valuable midfield. Miki, 7+. Completing midfield with the other flank, drone delivery Di Marco, 6-. Why? Because he started off well with a great control of the ball on the flank and then a cross, but then he made that assist to them with his head, and a few minutes later he also shot the ball with his right foot and also made an assist inside the penalty area for them, a second one. So that was not very good. The crosses that he puts in the area are not as precise and succulent as the ones that he usually does, and even makes wrong choices sometimes, like when he waited a bit too long in crossing the ball in the second half during a counter-attack. And then he did do a wonderful volley cross that was a bit too... Lauti didn't get it for like a few centimeters, but all in all, he gets a 6-. I don't want to give him a bad grade because yesterday everybody was amazing, but it's only a 6- for drone delivery Di Marco this time. Lauti, 6+. He showed the right grit as usual. He gained and conquered a great fall just outside the penalty box, the penalty area on the corner. Then he had a wonderful move in the end of the first half in which he almost gained a penalty because he just hinted that he was going to get the ball and go outside of the penalty area. Instead, he went inside, and it was tough for Benfica's defense to prevent him from getting either a fault or a shot on goal. And so it's a 6+ for Lauti. I wish he could have done more in terms of scoring or giving assists, but yesterday 6+. Dzeko, 5+. He played fairly well, but nothing special and not enough. He's just tired. He needs to just stay on the bench for 2-3 games before he regains his physical state and shape. 5+ for Dzeko. Correa, 5.5. Coming to the substitutions, 5.5 to Correa, because yes, he did come in and lose 2 balls in 5 seconds in the first time he touched the ball, but he, I think, gave a nice ball to Miki in the end in that counter-attack, and he recuperated a wonderful ball also in defense and started a counter-attack. So, he's alive, at least he's alive. So 5.5 for Correa. I was happy to see him play like this because I have nothing against him as a player or as a man. I just want the good for Inter. So if he plays so awfully, I regret having bought him for such a big amount of money. So 5.5 yesterday. Big Rom Lukaku, it's a 7. He loses the ball, but then he regains it, and then most of all he scores that penalty that is gold for us and was not easy at all. Luckily, we had the penalty when he was on the pitch, not when Lauti was there. Otherwise, it would have been a problem. So 7 for Lukaku. Lukaku scored the tie with Juventus in the semi-final, made us go through with Porto with his goal in the first leg, and scored yesterday. So, as I said, the investment on Lukaku is starting to pay off. Let's see. We still have a month and a half to go. So far, so good. Gosens, 6. He was overtaken a couple of times, but he also recuperated the ball a couple of times, and then he gave that pass that was really not good to Brozovic in the end. So all in all, it's a 6 for Gosens. A bit of confusion in his performance yesterday. Dambro, 6. Great recuperation of the ball in one instance towards the end. So even if he played very little, I give him a 6. De Vrij doesn't get a grade because he played really too little. And he wasn't part of any relevant play. Inzaghi, 8 for Simone. Great approach. If he put Di Marco in the starting lineup, it means that he felt that he had the right energy to sustain the game. I was a bit surprised by Correa, but he proved actually to be right because both Lauti and Dzeko didn't play well enough. So this idea of changing both of them at the same time was actually very good. And nothing to say, the changes he made were perfect because, again, forward, we talked about it, and also Di Marco with Gosens was a great change. So very, very good. He demonstrated once again that in these chess games that are in or out, he is the best. And it was a pleasure to watch Inter yesterday. And it's been ages since we bring home a game with such a good result and with such an intelligent interpretation of the match. So that's simply fantastic. That's it for today. Thanks a lot for watching. Punch the like button if you enjoyed the video. Please punch it, and subscribe. I love to gain a few more subscribers, and I love to receive a comment on how to make these videos better. That's all for today, and as always, Forza Magica Inter. Ciao.